Hello, my name is Zachary Anderson, and this is my CIT-63 final project. My final project originally was only going to be a text-based game with a story mode. However, after coding up to the first day and having a storyboard of up to 5 days, I realized the story mode was only going to be, for the most part, just output with minimal user input and next to no processing. Additionally, if you weren't really invested in the story, it's not really fun at that point. So I decided I'd evolve my game into one that not only has a story mode, but has what I call an endless fighter. So I will start my game by putting in my username. The game welcomes you to my fantasy world and asks you for your name. So I will put my name for the purpose of this demo. And then you have the three classes that are stereotypical to most MMOs back in the day. So for the purpose of this demo, I will actually pick the wizard. You can see it recognizes your class. And then it asks you what you would like to play. Because this was originally going to be a story game, I will go ahead and go to the story mode. You can see that it does have the output, and the story mode is decision based. So the story will change based on what decisions you make. And for the purpose, I will just go down the first route the entire way here for the purpose of this demo. And like I said, it does have a lot of text, and if you pause, you can read it. But if the story isn't quite down your alley, the game will come across as somewhat boring. And there are other characters in the game, and they do have what I call romantic interests. So, as most games have these days, you can romantically flirt with the other characters and so on. And if the game did go past one day, there would be more characters, but I only coded up to day one because after about 400 lines of code, I realized a lot of this was just output. So I only coded up to day one, and we can see here, once day one ends, you are prompted to save. The save feature utilizes file output, and if you do save, and I will just to show you, it will tell you if your save is successful, and due to the nature of the coding, it will always output save successful. And it will then ask you what you want to do. So if you want to go back to the story, it does save your progress variable. So if I did code past day one, day two will continue, or begin rather. And then once you get to day three, you will once again be prompted to save. And then if you do or don't, it'll save the new progress variable, and you can continue the story at a later date. Additionally, I have what I called karma. Karma is basically the nature of your character, good or bad. The story does change based on what affiliations you have, and I did save as a good character, so we will close this and run it again. So this would simulate the person closing the game for some reason and coming back at a later date. Here you can see that it recognizes I have a save right out the gate, so I will actually load my save. And it recognizes my original username. And if I go back to story, it will put me back at day two, ignoring the day one part of the story. And because day two is not there, it once again prompts me to be patient and ends the story mode. However, if you do come into the game and decide not to load the save, you could start once again as a new player. I will now name myself Bob for this, and I will pick a knight this time. And you can recognize it does say knight now instead of wizard. And if we go to story mode, we once again start at day one, and we'll go down route 3 this time, and instead of going to the inn, I will just go to the tavern. And because I picked the negative option right here, I get this special encounter. There are special encounters based on how good or bad you are. And for this one, I believe I chose the bad route. So I actually won't save this. If you save, it will overwrite the previous save. But if you try to continue the story, you can see once again, it reads that new karma variable. And this time I did in fact pick the knight. So if we go back and load that original save, we can see that it loads my original name, and if we go to Coliseum mode, we can see that I am in fact a wizard. Now Coliseum mode is a text-based fighter, and it's similar to Pokemon or even Final Fantasy if you've played that. It keeps track of your health, your damage, your defense, and your chance to critically hit. The enemy has some randomized stats based on how many rounds you've been going, and the damage of your character is different as you level up. So I'm gonna go ahead and fight this person here. Once you pick your ability, it will calculate the damage, how much damage the enemy did, and do it from the stats. Now, because I used the floor of the variable, sometimes the damage will say a number and it will be slightly higher than it actually is, and that is the nature of flooring variables. As you can see here, this did 14 damage to his 18 health, but the enemy has 3 health. Now that doesn't make much sense, but it's because the variable right here was floored. So in reality it's 14 point something, and because this is rounded, it comes out to 3. However, I will just go ahead and finish off the enemy. Once you finish an enemy, you're told you're victorious, you're given EXP and credits. You can spend the credits in the store. I will actually just heal up here. And all these options do allow your character to gain stat bonuses, heal up, or even level up if you have enough credits to get to the next level. However, I will simply, after you're finished buying things, you can go to the next enemy. For the purpose of this, I will demonstrate that the loop I have functioning here will not accept any input other than what is designated. If you try to mess, or if you accidentally press 2 buttons or even 3, you'll be prompted with an error because this is coded as a byte. However, it does handle a majority of the errors, and the loop will work if you don't go past the byte limit. Now, because I didn't save that last time, I am back at level 1. However, I will try to level up here and overwrite the save. And you can see I've progressed to round 2 here. And I've progressed to level 2. So I will go ahead and leave. And once again, it prompts me to save, so I will overwrite that save. And then I will actually go to story mode once again to show you can actually go on the fly from here. And story mode still at day 2. So we will go ahead and exit and open up that now new save that was overwritten. And we go back to the Coliseum. We can see that I am still level 2 and my stats are still changed. So the purpose of this is, if you want to try to beat Coliseum mode really well, you can level up your character, save, come back, and you will restart at round 1. So you can technically grind your character to a really high level and just endlessly fight these AI. While there is no exact final boss, it does endlessly go, and it would be fun to make events for this and improve the mode. However, I did not get that far because I was coding this game by myself, but for the most part it functions as exactly planned, if not better. And I did implement that file input output for your character. While it can be improved, I feel it functions perfectly well for the game, and had I added more modes or even more complex things, I would allow the character sheet to be saved better, maybe even implement multiple saves. But my name is Zachary Anderson, and that was my final project.